see it? Do you see this? It looks like it could be like a Victorian curtain, but it's fabric I got from Joann. In a previous video, I showed this fabric and I said I was coming back to get it. And I did. I got it. And I'm making this gown-like Victorian style old school dress out of this old looking fabric. And I'm gonna combine some patterns. I'm adjusting some patterns. I'm trying some things out for the first time, like making a corset with boning strips added in. Hopefully I'll be doing that. I'm going to be making that dress out of this. So if you're interested in seeing how this all comes together, then I hope you keep watching. This is the top bodice piece. It's a little weird looking, but I made a mock-up and it actually does work. So I'm going to put this is like the top half. I'm just going to put it at the bottom of here. This is where I want that piece to end. So I'm going to put it here and I want it to be even. This is one half of the front. And then this will be the other half of the front when it's flipped that way. So I'm going to fold it in half. And then put the pattern piece and cut it. And then these are all the corset pieces. I'm going to line these up. Hopefully it comes out good, but I'm going to cut that. And then the centerpiece for the corset middle, and then proceed with the remaining pieces. I'll just need to cut doubles of all of these, and then I'll cut this one on the fold. Cut this one on the fold as well. Here I'm using the serger to close up the dart. There's one dart on either side of the bodice piece. And then I'll use the serger to seal up all the rough edges of all the pieces. Just to show, I did overlock all the edges except for the bottom, because I think I'll be able to overlock this as one once it's all connected, but everything else is overlocked all the way around. And I'm just going to join these pieces together now. Okay, here it is all clipped together. Just wanted to show what it looks like on the inside before I sew it. Inside has a nice little iridescent look to it. I'm going to sew straight down on all these seams. Now I need to iron it down. I'm going to open up the seam allowance in here and iron it flat. And then I have boning. Boning is something I've never used before. I'm going to try it out now. And this is what it looks like. Got this from Amazon. I think some people's boning has boning channels that it comes with. Mine does not. So I have to create my own. But this is just like this hardened plastic. I think it comes in steel and very strong substances as well, but I have just plastic. So I'm just gonna iron the seam allowance open like this, and then I'll take the boning pieces and attach them here. So they attach by just sewing a piece of fabric around it or over it, or just make a channel where you could slide it through. I'm actually gonna try something that I think might be a little bit easier. I'm gonna use a little bit of hot glue. Yup. Because I want to make sure I have enough seam allowance to sew the piece that's going to go to the top of this, and then I'm going to cut the boning shorter so that I can add a add the skirt part of the dress, or add a bias binding at the bottom. Either way, I'm going to proceed with those steps. I just wanted to let you know what I'm trying to do. Before I do anything, I'm going to attach this. This is the top part of the bodice. This is the part that goes around the waist and kind of up the sides of the arm, around the shoulders, but this is the top part. So I'm going to attach that with the clips. Make sure it's nice and centered, and then go all the way around. Okay, this is what that connection looks like in the back. It's a little bit weird, and I got this pattern from Frida Leopold. I will link her channel below. She shared this pattern for her midnight, is it midnight or moonlight dress? I think it's her moonlight dress. She shared the pattern for it on her Patreon, but she didn't have sizing, so I had to modify this pattern quite a bit to fit me. Also, I had to fill in the back because she had an opening, like basically the whole top part of her back was out. I didn't want that, so I had to fill that in. So I just modified it by adding that stretch over piece, and then the connecting here is a little bit weird, but you just, you know, push the fabric where you want it to go and it will obey. So I got that part covered there, and then when I tried it on, this whole panel on both sides is not needed. It connects by this one here, so these two panels are probably going to get folded in some kind of way with the corset thing that I'm going to be using. But either way, I'm going to finish attaching it, but I just wanted to show you the weirdness of this and how it's sewn on in the back. It's just a little bit strange, but I'll link Frida Leopold's channel below. She's a very skilled seamstress. She does amazing work. But yeah, I'll show you this when it's all done. Now working on the neckline. To save myself the aggravation, I'm not even going to do a lining. So with that, I decided to do a double rolled hem around the neck and just sew it down. And I'm hoping it lays the way I want it to. I'm going to sew this around once everything's clipped on, and then I'll be on to the next step. Okay, not bad. The days are getting away from me, so I don't know what I already showed you, but I clipped this down. There's a lot of material folded over back here. I think I talked about that before. The waist has too much material, but I have folded it in just the right amount of spacing, what I feel like is right, and I tried to match it on both sides to make it completely symmetrical as much as I can. And what I'm going to do is just sew a straight stitch up that way and up this way to keep everything together. That's going to close that up, and then I'm going to take this corset stuff that I got from Amazon. I don't even remember if I showed you this already, but either way, once this is closed, I'm going to then sew this on like this. So all we're going to have is the loop sticking out on both sides. So I'm going to do that now. When you see it again, this is going to be attached and the sleeves are going to be on. Now I need to do the sleeves, and I'm using the same Frida Leopold sleeves that I used in my birthday dress, which is linked below in case you want to look at that one. And instead of adding the cuff portion of that sleeve, I'm going to just do the top part. So if you refer back to that video, you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm just going to use the top part of the sleeve. It's very billowy and poofy, and I'm going to put some elastic in it so that it stops down here. So I'm cutting that now. I got the pieces so that they can be symmetrical, and then I'm adding a panel piece to the skirt. It's going to be down the back in the middle because I need it to billow out a little bit more at the bottom. So the bodice piece is complete, and now I'm doing something a little bit different with the skirt. It's sewed all the way around. This is like a big rectangular piece attached. So this is how it's attached at the back. I just have that extra piece that I cut as the back, and then it's sewed all the way around. So there's no seam where the zipper is supposed to go. I am going to make that by cutting down here the length of the zipper instead of making it in the seam. So once I cut in, I'm going to go straight down the middle and try to keep it symmetrical and fold it in for the seam allowance, and then attach this invisible zipper, and then I will make sure everything is closed up right there, and then it'll just be completely closed the rest of the way down. So I mean, that's just something that I'm trying. Here's the middle, and I have it all clipped on. The waistband is clipped on where it's gonna attach, and then it's gonna fold over like this to close everything in. So I'm just gonna sew all the way around. Well, it's not really around, it's the zipper is on. Let me show you. Forgot about the zipper. So I just did the zipper foot to seal the zipper on, or to attach the zipper at that back seam that I mentioned, and then I just closed it out by hand just to finalize this part here. So the zipper is left, this part of the zipper is left because once the waistband gets attached, then I'll attach the rest of the zipper to the waistband so it can zip all the way up like that. I'm going to sew around this way now. Okay, I do have another dress underneath here that has the same corseting thing, but I'm just using this to attach the strap. I haven't tried it on that one either, but this will be my first time trying this. Just gonna do a crisscross thing. Okay, and I'll continue that all the way down, and then the last thing I need to do on this is add bias binding around the edge. And now all the binding is covering over all of that material inside, and I'm gonna stitch all the way around, and then this will be complete. And then all I have to do is work on the hem of the skirt. I'll just do a regular hem, which will just be a double roll of the material and then a straight stitch around. This is just the skirt part. I love the pleats. I cannot get over these pleats, but I put them mostly on the sides. The front part is pretty smooth, and then the sides have all the pleating, and then around the back. So there's the band, and then this part here, as you can tell, I kept that centered, so that's the middle, and then the back is also centered right around that zipper. So I don't know if I'm gonna actually attach these pieces. I might just be able to wear this as a skirt and then just put the corset on top and cinch it. I really don't know. I kind of want to attach them, but I'm not going to force it. This will be completed very, very soon. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.